Okay, everybody, we're back. The next step is actually putting the light ballast, or the ballast or the light onto the brackets. We're going to just lightly do the top four, and then this bottom bracket. I guess it can either be the top or the bottom, but I loosened the bottom the bottom bolt. I just loosened one of them. That way I can kind of move it left and right. You don't want to fully tighten this bracket here. If you did tighten it, just kind of loosen it up just a little bit so you can have some wiggle room to move so that the holes line up. So let's go ahead and get to that. I'm going to do the first four on top and then we'll move to the bottom. Also make sure that you put your cord towards the bottom. That way it's closer to electrical outlets or whatever. Make sure you don't put it to the top unless you have use, but you don't want this being plugged up, okay? And you don't want water running down and then getting into the ballast here and then shorting stuff out. So it's best to have it down. That way if any water splashes, the cord will hopefully be facing downward and have that loop. You never want your cord, well, let's get into electrical, but you always want to have your cord going down and then the loop up and plugged, so that loop, if any water drops onto this cord, it goes to the very bottom and it just drops down. You never want your cord to go from top down and plug and the water runs to that plug and it goes inside the outlet. So probably a little bit too much much information, but hey, trying for you guys not to like mess anything up as far as your electrical. Okay, and so we're just doing it barely till it kind of like touches. We still want some play in it so that we can move this left and right and get the holes lined up. So we're just actually going to just do two, and then we're going to go ahead and line the bottom one up. Okay, there's one in there. Now, the bag that I used for these here, there's 10 of them, 5 on each side. I used the bolt and washers in the bag that says through plastic. Now, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure they label the bags the same for every washout booth or for that model, but I had one that said legs, and it looks like they just give you an extra 1 or 2 in the bag, but I use this to put the entire legs together. The feet to the stand and the stand with the braces. I used all from this bag here. And then for the 10, the 5 on each side, I used one that said through plastic. And it just gives you an idea of where those went. And then for the light box, or the light bracket box, it had bolts that go on the top and the bottom, and then it has 8 of the zinc plated metal screws. Okay. And so that's the bag that we used for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off. Not tightening it all the way, I'm just going all the way until it stops, or right before it stops. Alright, so I got all 8 of them in, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten it just until it stops. There's where it stops, just my normal power or my normal strength, and then I'm just going to go just a tad tighter. There's no need to over tighten these. Alright, so now I'm going to go back and tighten the bottom bolt on this bottom bracket, so because I loosened it so that I can be able to align the holes to the ballast. Okay, that's pretty much it for that. And we're going to get into the next step. I'm going to go ahead and get the pieces lined up, and we'll get to the next step.